This is AgGrad Live.
We have all of the different segments within the cotton.
The show that explores what it's really like to work in the ag industry.
So making sure that we get policy and regulatory issues
straight from the people who live it every day.
All right, hello, AgGrad Nation. Another episode of AgGrad Live here. I'm very excited about some things that are happening actually behind the scenes that you don't know about yet, but you're hopefully going to appreciate. Not only is this show, as we've talked about before, going to be released as a podcast very soon, but also we just had this really cool like intro and outro to these videos made. So on this episode you're watching today, if you go and watch it on YouTube, you will see a really cool intro and outro. That is as soon as I can figure out how to edit it in. But we had a really cool intro and outro made. I think you're really going to dig it because it's pretty cool. These career spotlights have been going very well. I've really been enjoying the information we're getting. If you've ever looked for a job, you know there's just only so much you could tell by a job description. And the options for understanding careers in agriculture are pretty limited. You have kind of whoever's in your current network, whoever you happen to know, and whatever you can find out online. So it really helps to get to hear it straight from the people who live it every day. And one that comes up a lot, just because by number of jobs out there, there's a lot of them, is sales. And several people have approached me about maybe feeling a little bit nervous about going into sales. Maybe it's not for them. They have a lot of preconceived notions about what sales are and what sales aren't. But then you talk to somebody who's in sales, specifically in ag sales, and they love their job. And we have somebody like that on the show here for you today in Tim Braun. So we'll bring you on, Tim. You are on AgGrad Live. Welcome, sir.
All right. Hey, thanks, Tim, for having me, and thanks everybody for watching.
Yeah, so tell us first just about your job. Who do you work for, and what's life look like for you on a day-to-day basis?
Sure. So the company I work for is called Rob Seco, and we're a small seed company that has been going for the last 4 years, or restarted for the last 4 years now, based out of Omaha. And so what my job is to both promote the brand, build the brand, and recruit some dealers and do some on-farm sales as well, trying to promote our corn and soybean products.
Okay, so you all sell corn and soybean seed. Is this seed that you've produced and it's your own proprietary seed, or are you a retailer for other seed companies?
So we're a licensee of Syngenta, so we distribute a lot of seed products from them, and we've got some other suppliers that we utilize too. But have a good relationship with Syngenta, so we do a lot with their seed product. Okay,
and you mentioned both farmers and dealers. I think a lot of people don't understand that part of sort of the way the supply chain works. So you're selling directly to farmers, but you're also selling to people who sell to farmers, right?
Correct. So with this brand right now, it's an up and coming thing in my territory, it's an expansions territory that I started in September here. And so my job is to go and build up a dealer network of getting local support and local energy behind it, but also to work with certain growers and help promote the brand myself too, just to get some on the ground and get people to take a look at it and build it up to a respectable brand. We're the fastest growing seed company in the country right now.
Oh, really?
It's been a lot of fun. Yep.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Did you just grow up dreaming of selling seed, or how'd you get into this?
Well, no, my dream wasn't selling seed at all. It's actually, it can be a challenging type of thing for a lot of people to get into. But what I really like to do is I'm an agronomy junkie. So I really enjoy growing crops and seeing what's going on there. And I also enjoy helping other farmers do a better job raising their crops and doing anything I can to help them do a little bit better. And so this fits in really well. Also like the business aspect of it and managing, how we go about doing business and building the brand is my biggest thing. I'm kind of a marketer at heart too, so I like to do anything I can to help build the brand and create it for nothing.
Okay, so you just hit on something that's very key there. A lot of times when I'm talking to people and they're like, I don't know, sales is probably not for me because I don't want to force people to do anything. And then when you talk to someone who's in sales and they love it, they're like, I love it because I love helping people. To me, that's a huge distinction. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Absolutely. And to me, as a seasoned sales professional, I can't force anybody to do anything, especially when you're on the farm level. Farmers are businessmen in themselves and businesswomen, I guess. and you can't force them to do anything. So what I do is I take a more consultant role in, this is what I have. This is how I think it's going to work in your farm. And, let's try to position this for the most success rather than, walking in there and, begging and pleading to get 5 bags of seed on the farm. It's a lot more education. And so my background is actually I have an ag education degree. And so I feel when I'm selling day to day, my job is educating people. It's not, sitting on a car lot waiting for somebody to come in and pouncing on them. It's how can I better educate my customers about the product I have and how it's going to work on their farms. And if I discover it's not going to work on their farms, then we go a different direction because you'll only get by with that 1 year. It's not a long-term sustainable thing.
Man, that is awesome. Yeah, I mean, that's so true. If you're selling something that doesn't solve a real problem for the customer, there's no amount of forcing you could possibly do. It either solves the problem and they're going to pay to get that problem solved, or it doesn't. And so I think that's fascinating. So you were an ag ed major, which I didn't know till just now. I do talk to folks who say, selling seed or maybe whatever the case may be is something I would love, but I majored in ag ed. So I guess, and it's not only ag ed. I majored in something other than what I'm interested in. How did you get a job in seed sales being an ag ed major?
Well, and for me, I started with ag ed as my degree. I also had an agronomy minor because I've always enjoyed that stuff. But really, to me, if I'm recruiting sales professionals or people that are going to be into it, an ag ed degree is perfect because, again, our job is more education based. It's how do you deliver this information to the customer in a way they're going to understand it and relate to you and relate to what you're doing there. And so I think it's perfect. Anybody that has a passion for doing sales or agronomy or seed or chemistry, anything like that, that's going to come out more than official, university training. It's if you have a passion about it, if you're excited about it every day, that's what's going to drive your business because people see how passionate you are, and that feeds off their excitement, and they want to be part of it.
I love that. I'm going to put that up here. I'm not as quick on the thoughts as you are getting them on the screen, but yeah, I think passion will drive your business. I mean, that's what people are drawn to. If they see you're serious about it and you're passionate about it, they're going to be automatically drawn to that. Well, tell us about a normal day, like today. You get up, do you just go up, you wake up in the morning and you say, okay, which farmer am I going to show up and talk to today? Or how does that go? What's it look like day to day?
So for me, I try to plan my days out, at least the day before. So it's hard with some farmers to do much more than a day or two advanced, but have a plan on who I'm going to talk to, what I'm going to talk to them about, prepare myself. So today I wound up only having 2 meetings, which was okay. Got some time in the office to enter some orders and take care of some paperwork, and then prepare for the meetings I had by getting the right data and the right sales literature for these guys, and then going in there and being ready. So to me, it's my day is spent probably 30% of the time doing some office work, 20 to 30% of the time doing some office work. The rest of the time is either going out with my dealers and supporting them, or going out on my own and trying to either recruit dealers or work with some of the farmers themselves and sell some seed.
So when you say in the office, do you have an office there locally? You're in Minnesota. Do you have an office, or do you work from a home office?
Home office, which is really a nice perk. Being able to set your own schedule and manage your time effectively. If you're the type of person that's good at managing their time effectively and everything else, it's really nice to be able to set my own schedule and not have to abide by anybody else's. Yeah,
absolutely. So what was it like? I imagine you've had to make cold calls, which sometimes when you're talking to farmers, cold calls means like cold showing up at their place. I imagine you've had to do that before. And if so, what was that like the first time you had to do that?
It's challenging. It's still challenging today sometimes when you don't have any kind of relationship or FaceTime with anybody. It's tough to just drive into somebody's yard and wow them right away. And for me, I'm a little slower in the process. I like to build a relationship. I'm definitely in the thought that relationships are the biggest thing that drive our industry. I think a lot of people would agree with me that people have to get to know you a little bit, trust you, at least hear what you have to say before anybody's going to make a purchase. So it's a little bit slower process than I like sometimes, especially building a brand new brand in an area. But it's just being visible in the community to me is huge in that, people start seeing you at meetings, seeing you at different functions and everything else. So start to get some familiarity and plug your brand a little bit and drive those conversations.
And I know Rob Seco, who you work for, you get to work kind of in your hometown. You're back to where you grew up. Did they have a presence there before, or are you building that kind of from scratch?
No, so there really wasn't a presence there before. There were some guys to the south of me a little bit, but nobody in the direct area. So yeah, I'm building a brand from scratch, something that many people haven't heard of or even seen before. And that comes with its challenges, especially in the first year without any good, a lot of local data and stuff. But my biggest thing is trying to position myself to get that data, to get people good looks at it, be visible with the product, and get people asking, what is this Rob Seco stuff? Why am I seeing signs all over the place? And get people asking questions.
All right, so totally random question. Do you actually go out and you put the signs up, say, hey, look, here are the varieties we're trialing out here? You're the guy who puts the signs up?
Myself and my dealers, yeah.
Yeah, cool. So obviously it's got to be a challenge to grow a business from scratch, kind of move out there, be the guy, kind of grow it out of nothing. Well, what kind of makes it all worthwhile for you? Like what's the most rewarding time where you're just like, yes, all of the struggle and the cold calls and the challenges are all really worth it?
For me, when you get to that point after maybe a call or two and get a grower on board and say, here, I'm going to give you, 50 acres, 100 acres or whatever they want to do. And they've never seen it before, but they like what I have to say. They feel I'm a trustworthy guy and want to try it out. So for me, it's just closing these first sales and especially this first year and getting people on board and having some excitement for it. It's really exciting when you guys decide to try something new too. They're kind of excited for it that they decided this is going to work pretty well for them. And so just try to keep building on that excitement and show we're having fun, because we are having a lot of fun as a company, from being relatively unknown to hitting growth every year. I mean, that's a lot of fun, and a lot of businesses are struggling to maintain right now. So being able to grow is quite a bit of fun, and that's infectious with your customers and your competitors too. They always notice when you're having fun out there, they try to emulate what you're doing.
That's awesome. And if somebody's watching here and said, boy, that does look like a lot of fun, what types of roles does Rob Seco hire for, and what are they looking for generally in new employees?
So what we're looking for is people that are going to be active, that have some connections in the community and have the drive to build a new brand and go out there and work every day and maybe only get a little bit of the ways, but just continue grinding and build a business. And for us, the roles we have, we're looking for people in my position with just called a direct sales rep, which is similar to a DSM position in most companies. That's primarily what we're hiring for.
Okay. And sorry, I want to get that up on the screen as well here. Get that up there. Direct sales rep is kind of what you call that. What would be your number one advice for somebody starting off their career in sales? Network is my best piece of advice. Get to know people in the industry, outside of the industry, your customers. I mean, just make as many connections as you can, because they'll come back to you time after time that, I know that guy, I met him, seems like a pretty decent guy and, knowledgeable and that sort of thing. So to me, networking is key, and just treat your customers as you'd like to be treated. I mean, be fair with everybody, and sales will come your way. Cool. Well, I know you started, Tim, your career with BASF in like one of those kind of what do you call it, like professional development programs where you didn't quite know where you're going to end up. Can you tell us a little bit about that? How that went for you? Sure. And so that was an interesting experience. So I spent 9 months in training with their marketing department, and then 9 months, that was down in Raleigh, North Carolina, and then 9 months up in North Dakota learning the sales side of the business, where I actually stuck around for 7 years after that. But it was really scary leaving home like that and not knowing where I was going to wind up. It was a tough decision for me to make, and I would tell everybody that's listening and watching this that that step is the best step you could ever take.
people get, especially ag people, we get close to home. We don't want to leave too bad, but home will always be there. Home will always be there. Take the leaps while you can, while you're young and not tied down, and take the chances, because they'll lead you a lot further in life than you ever imagined.
Yeah, definitely. No, I can relate to that. I left shortly after graduating from college in California, and did a couple job interviews in the Midwest, and ended up in Texas and bounced around. And I have not yet permanently moved back to California. I don't know that I will. It's just there's so much opportunity out there, but it does require some degree of taking a leap, and that's pretty cool that you did. And for you, it's kind of cool that it's come full circle now. How old are you? So how old are you now?
33.
33. Okay. You're 33. You've moved back home, and you are well, not home to your parents' house, but home to your home community, and you are getting to build a business there. What do you see as the next step for you in your career?
The next step for me is kind of continuing to build my farm business a little bit, and hopefully within the seed or chemical business, move into a people management role. That's kind of my next goal, is to get in a role where I can help to train and develop people. That I've always had a passion for and enjoy doing that quite a bit. So that's kind of the next step for me.
Great, Tim. I really appreciate you doing this. This has been really, really insightful. In fact, I got let's see here, Mindy posted that she's an ag teacher and she's loving this. She wishes her horticulture students could be watching it right now. Well, Mindy, we are going to put it to YouTube, so feel free to show this in your horticulture class. One of the objectives here is to try to shed some light onto how interesting these careers can be, like what Tim gets to do every day. It's pretty amazing that, at age 33, you're living where you want to live. You're building a business. You're working from a home office. I just think that's great, and I think that's the story that needs to be told about careers in agriculture, because they are in demand. Are you in a pretty rural area, I take it?
Yeah. Princeton's a smaller town, about 5,000 people in town, and then out where I live, it's a little quieter. So that's a very rural setting. And where I used to live was the Fargo, North Dakota area, so that was actually a little more of an urban setting. So with these careers, you kind of have options too, where you want to be, especially when you're running a territory, if you want to be closer to town or out of town or anything like that.
Awesome. All right, Tim. Well, if somebody wants to reach out to you and buy some seed from you, or just ask you about your career and how they can maybe achieve what you've been able to achieve so far, how could they get in touch with you?
The best way is to shoot me an email, and that is at tbraun@robseco.com, or message me on Twitter, and my handle on there is Tim Braun 3.
All right, Tim Braun 3 on Twitter.
Yep.
All right, I'm going to put that up because it was shorter than the email address. So Tim Braun, then just the number 3, right?
Yep.
Okay, I've got it up on the screen for those of you who want to reach out to Tim. Go follow him on Twitter. You can catch this, as I said, on YouTube. We are also going to release it as a podcast, and I would love it for just one ask of you who are watching. If you could go to find AgGrad on YouTube and just subscribe to our YouTube channel, that would be awesome. We're trying to grow our presence there and plan to be releasing more videos there. So one more time, thank you so much, Tim. We'll be back next week with another AgGrad Live.
Thank you for joining AgGrad Live. Visit aggrad.com, that's AGGRAD, to join the community, create your profile, and learn more about careers in the agriculture industry.